I'm Debbie Godfrey. Welcome to the Positive Parenting PEP Talks podcast.
A dad in my class tonight said that one of the things he's learned in the class is that his relationship with his children is way more important than whatever task or chore or thing that they're fighting about right now is. And what he said was that he's come to the realization that every little thing that they're fighting over is either enhancing his relationship or disrupting his relationship. And that if it means disrupting his relationship, breaking down communication, causing his child not to respect him, then it really isn't going to be valuable in the long run. And he's much more willing to try to figure things out that work, both to keep that relationship intact and to get his children to do what he's supposed to do. And one example he was sharing related to that was when he was in a fight with his daughter and she had not been doing what she was supposed to do, and she was actually sitting in some kind of a version of timeout, and which we actually advocate doing self-quieting instead of timeout, but we hadn't gotten to that part in the class yet. And so she was already kind of being a little bit punished, and he was having problems with her, and then she looked up and she said, "Butthole," called him a butthole, and he just instantly wanted to react. He said that just was like, just hit him right at the end of his rope. And instead he took a deep breath and he said, "Ow," and he turned and he walked away. And he said when she got out of timeout, she came over and said, "I'm really sorry, Daddy, for calling you a butthole." And she apologized. And he just realized how important it is that he figures out ways to discipline instead of yelling and punishing, because the kids really can come through with a more appropriate response if we give them the opportunity, if we allow them to. One of the ways that we keep the relationship intact is to make sure that our discipline is correcting the misbehavior, but at the same time honoring their little spirits as kids. So by being both kind and firm, by being empathetic, understanding how difficult it is to be a kid, that, somebody every day they're getting told what to do a million times, and they have very little power in their worlds. And so to be a little empathetic with that and understanding about that can help us in those situations where we're starting to lose it, to calm ourselves down, take a deep breath, ask ourselves, what's the best response in this circumstance? And for me, if the only alternative is yelling and screaming, if I don't know anything else to do, really for me, 90% of the time, the best choice is to walk away, even if it means letting them get away with something. Because if I yell and scream and lose it and become crazy mom, the resultant loss in my parental authority is not worth it. Because every time I yell and I lose it, they get less and less respect for me. So I want to make sure that I'm parenting in a way that's gaining respect rather than losing it. And interestingly, apologizing to your kids actually can build respect for you by them. And what I mean by this is if you do yell at them and then you tell them, "I apologize for yelling. Let me try to figure out a better way to work this out with you," that will actually cause more respect than yelling and justifying your yelling. Because then they just think you're crazy, you're mean, and you don't care, and they lose respect for you. So I guess my tip for today is take some moments and think about the situation that you're disciplining and ask yourself, what's the best way I can do this kindly and firmly, keeping my relationship intact and yet still correcting their misbehavior so that they do what they're supposed to do. Have a great day. Happy parenting.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Positive Parenting PEP Talks podcast. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Debbie Godfrey, owner and founder of positiveparenting.com. I hope you'll go and check out my website and follow me on Instagram and let me know about what you thought about today's episode. Did you learn something new? Were you able to do something different with your children? Did you have a success story? Those are my favorite to share. Let me know. Contact me. I'd love to hear from you. And also, what future topics would you be interested in hearing about on the Positive Parenting Pep Talks podcast? Thank you so much for being here and for all of your support. Take care and happy parenting.